want to talk to you guys a little bit about a email I got this morning that I think is very important for you guys that are out there doing FERT and SQUIRT applications. I know most of us are into that pretty good right now, and I got an email from actually one of my listeners here too. I know Stephen listens to us. He's with Sigma Organics. He listens quite a bit with us, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind me sharing this because I'm sure it's at least a regional and maybe a national issue that's coming along. But Stephen was kind enough to share an email this morning, and I'm gonna read part of it. It's not a bedtime story, but I just want to make sure that I get it right for you guys too, because I think it's going to affect a lot of different markets. But he basically says in the past week he's received a couple letters from manufacturers that are outlining, some challenges that they see effective immediately for our industry, and he wanted to pass them along to it. And the first was the increased time it's going to take to get product, from them. And this particular email, for these manufacturers, and I'm sure it's different for everybody potentially, but they're saying, there's going to be time frames between 25 and 35 days from the time an order is placed into the manufacturer's system before it comes out. So I just thought I'd run that by. It's something to think about. Stephen basically was saying, hey, he says, I just want you to be a little more proactive on your product planning, is what he was telling his customers that he sent this email to, because we get pretty used to that on demand. Can't think of the word I want to use, but hey, when you need it, you go get it kind of thing. And based on your company size, that may be how you operate, and that may be good, that may be bad, and we're not here to talk about that side of it today. But it's just to be aware that product availability may become an issue, and it says that lag time between order potentially and getting what you're ordering may increase actually in time as we go through July 4th. So I thought that was something important enough to pass along. And secondly, he said the availability of raw ingredients is becoming scarce, particularly in the fertilizer markets. So, with that demand that's outpacing the supply, we know what that's going to do too. It's going to change pricing. So, just something to think about. So if you're thinking about it, part of your goals is to grow your business this year, and hey, you think, well, yeah, I'm on my way to doing that. I'm halfway to what my goal is, and I want to have that happen, and I really think I'm going to make it. Well, start thinking about and reach out. Maybe you'd want to reach out to your fertilizer supplier and your chemical suppliers, your herbicides and whatnot, to find out, hey, is this going to affect me as well? So, I heard this on Turf's Up Radio. I just want to find out if it's a Louisville, Kentucky problem, or if it's, hey, is it going to affect me here in Idaho or California or Ohio or New York or Pennsylvania, wherever you may be, Florida, Texas. I mean, it could be anywhere. So check into that. And then finally, excuse me, they said the biggest challenge may be transportation and logistics. And I believe that 127%. I don't know where that came from, the 127%, but we've been living the logistic problems of getting things trucked to us, all year so far, spring-wise, regardless of what it is. And, he said he had actually reached out to a truck driver that he knows, and, saying, hey, what's the problem with it? And for you guys that haven't reached out and heard anything about this or on trucking or seen any problems, evidently the COVID closed a lot of driving schools. So for the drivers that, are no longer driving or retired or whatever, there's not that fresh group of drivers coming in behind them, number one. And it goes back to what we've talked about before on this show, and that, again, not based on anybody's political affiliation, but they're paying people. This guy's opinion says, hey, man, they're paying drivers more to stay home than they are to drive, So the fewer the drivers there are, it becomes supply and demand, right? It's kind of like our industry. In the spring, there's a lot of people want some things done, but the supply of landscapers to get them done isn't great enough necessarily, and thus we get backlogged, right? Well, that same thing's happening with trucking right now. Not enough trailers to be towed around by drivers. So, hey, what's happening? They're taking the better loads, the more profitable loads. So, depending on what you're getting, it may be a problem. So, I appreciate Stephen West, with Sigma Organics sending that out and just giving us a heads up on it. And final note on his email basically said, moving forward and effective immediately until further notice, they're going to give you price quotes on product, but the product price is going to be fixed, but the price on the transportation is obviously going to change. So with that being said, it's all about a volatile market. And I think that's something, all you guys that are out there treating lawns, if you haven't received such an email from your supplier, maybe if nothing else, just reach out. Just reach out to them and ask them, hey, is there going to be some lag time between ordering product and getting product? And, for you guys that are ordering quite a bit of it, in barrels or whatever, it's affecting that side of it too, from what I understand. So don't just think it's affecting a guy going in and getting 5 gallons in a case. Maybe it's those 30 or 50 gallon barrels of herbicide too, and it will not. Maybe it is. So just check on that.